Favorite movies in no particular order, except the the top two are definitely the top two, but I don't know which order to put them in for one or two. Probably Aliens. The second one would be my all-time favorite movie because of the um, just the stunning directing of James Cameron and the attention to detail, the gritty realism of the whole thing. In my opinion, best science fiction movie ever made, and I love science fiction. So, and then number two, The Fifth Element. I loved that movie. The first time I saw it, I wasn't so sure what I had seen, but I ended up watching it a second time, and then once I kind of got the movie, I was hooked. It was just amazing. No laughing. Muppet Treasure Island. I'm not kidding. I think that's a wonderful movie. Tim Curry, and it was just, I'm not a Muppet guy or anything normally, but Muppet Treasure Island was, I think, a fantastic piece of film. What can I say? Tombstone, Val Kilmer, Kurt Russell, the best modern Western, I think, ever. And I'd have to give an honorable mention there also to The Quick and the Dead, another fantastic modern Western. Silence of the Lambs, best movie in its genre, I think. Anthony Hopkins, Jodie Foster, amazing. Seller mentioned The Edge. I don't know if I'd put that on my best movies, but it's a movie I did really, really like, and I've watched it several times, and it's a movie that it has a lot of deep, subtle things in it, and Anthony Hopkins is just amazing. The Bounty, Anthony Hopkins and what's his name? The Australian guy. Well, I'll just keep rolling on. The Bounty was a fantastic movie that totally crashed and burned at the box office and almost ended Anthony Hopkins' career. He gave up on Hollywood and went back to stage acting in London. And then he got a call to do this little film they were doing called The Silence of the Lambs. But I liked The Bounty. I thought it was a stunningly well done movie. The Road Warrior, Mel Gibson. That was the other guy who was in The Bounty. The Road Warrior, the number two in the Mad Max series. I thought that was a groundbreaking movie. It was, an iconic post-apocalyptic movie, despite kind of the silliness of a lot of it. And I just thought a great movie. And in that same series, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, I thought was a fantastic piece of film, really. It had it all. Tina Turner was amazing. She was like 62 or 65 or something when they filmed that. And she was amazing. Everybody in that film, from the small bit actors to top people, were just amazing. The latest Mad Max, the Fury Road or something, a lot of people liked. I didn't care for it. I thought they just took the kind of cliche imagery out of the Mad Max series and put it on steroids, and I just didn't think there was a real good story there. There wasn't. I thought it was very two-dimensional. Jurassic Park was a groundbreaking film at its time. I mean, you got to admit, when a T-Rex come, objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. Wow. Avatar in 3D was amazing. Avatar not in 3D was not really. But the 3D in the theater was one of the most mind-bending experiences of my life. I never saw anything like that before or since. And if it was back in the theater in 3D right now near me, I would go see it instantly. They've never equaled that 3D, never even come close in all these years now since. Pirates of the Caribbean, I thought was a very entertaining movie, and the first one wasn't too insanely over the top, and it was very creative. After that, Bruckheimer just started getting more and more and more over the top with the crazy, weird crap. And I think, I don't know, they're okay, but the first one was groundbreaking. Fight Club, Brad Pitt. That's a movie you have to watch from beginning to end. You can't miss any of it or come in the middle and get it. So it's really got to be beginning to end, but I think a great movie. Office Space. Anybody who's ever worked in an office can appreciate Office Space. It was a classic. It took my stapler. Whatever that TPS reports or whatever they were. Um, Star Wars, come on, you got to admit when that came out, that was groundbreaking. Nothing like that had ever been done. He borrowed a little of the look from 2001: A Space Odyssey, but he created so much totally new stuff that has become a normal part of our modern world these days. In terms of film and entertainment. The Batman, the one with Heath Ledger. I've liked a few of the Batman movies. I'm not a big superhero fan, but I like Batman. As long as you keep him Batman, as long as you don't start trying to soften him and psychoanalyzing him and making him gender friendly or some shit. I want Batman to be Batman. I want him to be Bruce Wayne, billionaire, playboy, superhero. Otherwise I don't want to see it. And the same thing with James Bond. I don't want to hear why James Bond chases after all these beautiful girls and because of something happened in his childhood. What a bunch of crap. I want James Bond to be James Bond. It's pretty obvious to me why he chases after all those women, right? Lives his life the way he does. Makes perfect sense. Let's see, where was I? Tomb Raider. Angelina Jolie set a whole new standard for the tough chick female action-adventure character, which she held up then in a lot of different movies in different ways. I think Angie's really quite good at what she does. A little crazy maybe in real life, but very good at her job. And she's an amazing director too. She directed that movie Unbroken, I think it was called, which the movie was okay, but the directing was staggeringly good. And there were some spots where that movie gave me the feeling like I was there. You could practically feel the breeze going through the trees and stuff. And I don't know how she does that, but the only other director I've ever had be able to grab me like that is James Cameron and put me there and make me feel like I'm right there. And then I liked Total Recall, Schwarzenegger. I thought that was a pretty good sci-fi movie. And you may see here that I really like sci-fi action horror stuff. I can go for a good Western. I got a couple Westerns in there and stuff. Or, I can go for almost anything if it's well done. But there are some things that just don't interest me. I'm not that interested in romance and that kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff, and the whole emotional thing. I'm not into that. I want to see story elements, and I want to see good acting, and I could go for some intensity, and I want to see some creativity, something a little different. Anyway, and then in general, in terms of actors and actresses, I like pretty much anything with Peter Lorre. I love old Peter Lorre movies. Don't know what it is about that guy, but there's something about Peter Lorre I like, and a lot of the old time actors were good. What's his name? Who was looking at you, kid? I'm not good at remembering names, but anyway, I'll watch anything with him too. Angelina Jolie, I could watch almost anything she's made. The only thing I ever saw that I sucked that she was in was Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow or something like that, and she had a bit part, and it was just a stupid movie. Mila Jovovich from The Fifth Element, and she's in the what's the T-Virus series, the Umbrella Corp and everything. Can't think of it. Anyway, and she's been in a movie about alien abduction, movies about serial killers. She's done a lot of roles, and I've never seen her in a movie I didn't enjoy watching. Brad Pitt, almost always good. I didn't like the Oceans movies, but I just thought they were too formulaic, and I don't like... I can't think of his name, but the guy who started with Brad Pitt in those movies, the real arrogant bastard. I just can't stand that guy. Kurt Russell, anything with Kurt Russell. Kind of grew up around Kurt. He'd hang out. Sometimes we'd see him like at Dairy Queen or something like that. Never really got in a conversation with him as a kid, but he is a little bit older than us, and he was Kurt Russell. But never heard a bad thing about him except from one girl who was really jealous because he didn't pay her the time of day. Anyway, Anthony Hopkins is just like always good, always worth watching. Keanu Reeves, I really enjoyed Keanu Reeves, and it's not just because of him, but also I have to admit, my oldest son, really looks like Keanu Reeves and has just a lot of mannerisms of his. Like, you know, there must be some gene connection there. Except he's better looking than Keanu Reeves, actually, and possibly more charming. He's a charming kid. He's married with children here. He's 30, I think. He's 32. Anyway, and Bruce Willis, I don't think there's anything Bruce Willis has ever been in that wasn't worth watching, in my opinion. So, and then anything directed by James Cameron, even things like Titanic, where it's a big emotional story and I just can't get into it. Still, just he makes stunning film. He just makes absolutely stunning film. So, anyway, that's it. That's my favorite movies list, and you probably see a theme there. I like sci-fi. I like action. I like story. I like to see a good story, and I like to see creativity in the movie. I like to see something I haven't seen before, or something presented in a way I haven't seen it before. I'm out.